1, 2, 3, start!
Dad, you're right. You made a sound.
That doesn't count. I couldn't help it. You're out because you talked to me to tell me I'm out.
Okay, sneezes don't count. Let's start in 3, 2, 1.
Wait.
Zeke, you're out again.
No, I got a good idea. Do you guys want to play Quiet Mouse with us?
That's a good idea. Now everybody, let's start. All right, ready? 3, 2, 1, start.
What is going on in here? Hope, did you have a party and I didn't get invited?
Surprise!
Ha! Oh, you're out. I win!
Hope, I've never seen you so animated. What's going on here?
Zeke told everybody about our Christmas adventure and they wanted to come too.
Oh!
So, surprise!
Yay!
I hope you don't mind us all being at your house.
I love that you're here. I don't mind at all. So what is it y'all are playing?
We were playing Quiet Mouse. Do you want to play?
Yeah, I love Quiet Mouse. But wait, you know what?
What?
Why don't we stop and have our Christmas adventure?
Yay! But hey, wait. But we don't have enough candy for everybody.
Candy!
Well, Hope, do you have a suggestion? What could we do?
What if we had our Christmas fudge? It's so good.
That's a great idea. And Quiet Mouse is the perfect game for today's lesson.
They play Quiet Mouse in the Bible?
No. But there was a very long period in the Bible where God was totally silent.
Well, what do you mean?
Well, Barbara, you see, all throughout history, God has been putting up with his children disobeying him, even way back in the Garden of Eden.
You mean when they ate the fruit, God said not to eat?
Yes, that's the time. That's right, Freddie. So ever since that day, sin has been in the world, and God, he can't look at sin.
Well, I guess he has to keep his eyes closed a lot now.
You're probably right. You know, God told his people in Amos chapter 8, verse 11, that days would come when God would send a famine in the land.
Wait, now, what's a famine again?
Isn't that when there's no food?
That's right, Freddie. That's when there's no food. But God wasn't sending a famine of bread, nor a famine of water.
What kind of other famine is there?
God was going to send them a famine of his word. So Amos chapter 8
Big A.
and verse 12, it says that the people will run to and fro to seek the word of the Lord, and they will not find it. So when the Old Testament ended, there was 400 years of silence from God. He didn't speak to his children at all during that time.
400 years is a long time. That's longer than the United States has even been a country.
So no one heard from God at all?
Man, that must have been a terrible feeling.
So what happened to cause God to come back?
Well, is that the part where we finally get to Jesus being born?
Well, almost. It's almost there. So this is actually the part where Jesus' cousin was born.
Wait a minute. Did you say his cousin?
I sure did.
I didn't know Jesus had cousins.
Yeah, well, you know, I don't know if he had cousins. The Bible doesn't tell us, but it does tell us about one cousin. His name was John.
You mean my Uncle John?
No, not Uncle John. I'm talking about John the Baptist. Have you heard of him?
Yes.
Yeah? Well, you see, the story of him being born is really an interesting story.
I want to hear about it.
So, it's actually found in the first chapter of the book of Luke. John's parents, their names were Zechariah and Elizabeth, and they were very old and they had no children at the time.
Man, here we go again with all these old people in the Bible having babies.
Well, Zeke, it's just a reminder that God, He can do anything, and all things have a perfect timing.
So, what happened?
Well, you see, Zechariah, he was a priest. And even though God was silent, the priests, they still continued to worship God at the temple.
But not the golden temple, that one got destroyed.
What? They destroyed God's temple?
Girl, you've missed a lot.
A lot.
We'll get you caught up.
Yes, we will. So, see, one day Zechariah, he was in the temple, in the Holy of Holies, and he was making a sacrifice for the people's sins. And suddenly, an angel appeared to him in the temple.
Another angel came down.
Yes.
Well, that happened a lot in the Bible. Wonder if it could happen again today.
Well, I'm sure it could, but let's focus on the story back in Luke, okay? So the angel told Zechariah, he said, your wife is going to have a baby and you need to name him John. And this is the best part. It's in Luke chapter 1, verse 17.
Big one.
Little 17.
So the angel said John would make ready a people prepared for the Lord.
Well, what does that mean?
I think it means he will get everyone ready to meet the Lord. That would be Jesus' cousin.
Well, that would be John's cousin, Jesus. Yeah, it's a tongue twister. So you see, Zechariah, he was so shocked to see this angel. And he wasn't quite sure if he was telling him the truth. So he said, I want some proof. And he said, I want you to prove to me that you're telling the truth.
Are you allowed to say that to an angel from heaven?
Well, I'm not really sure if you're allowed to, but he did. And, he got punished because he said that, because the angel said, okay, I'll give you a sign. And the sign is that Zechariah was not able to speak until the baby was born.
What? Man, that'd be impossible for me to be quiet for 9 months.
Ain't that the truth?
Yeah.
Again.
How are you supposed to not talk for 9 months? Zeke can't even not talk for 9 minutes.
Well, you're right about that. So what happened is the angel made it where he couldn't talk. He took his voice away.
So he must have had laryngitis.
Larry who? I don't even know a Larry.
Zeke.
It means to lose your voice.
Man, I sure hope that don't happen to me.
Well, Zeke, I think you're safe. Remember, you're a puppet.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
So this is one of the funniest stories in the Bible, in my opinion. So all the things that angels spoke about, they happened. And Elizabeth, she did have a baby. And in those days, it was really common for a baby to be named after his dad or grandparents.
Yeah, like me. Ezekiel, that's my grandpa's name.
I didn't know that. I thought his name was Grandpa because I just call him Grandpa.
Yeah, that's really neat, Zeke. Well, you see, a few days after John was born, a bunch of the neighbors and the cousins, they came over to see baby John. And they just assumed his name was going to be Zechariah, like his dad. So when Elizabeth said his name was John, they started arguing with her.
Arguing? What were they arguing about?
I guess they thought she made a mistake in what she named him.
A mistake? Don't parents get to choose their baby's name?
Yeah, that is very weird.
Well, remember, times were different back those days. So this is the part that I think is so funny. When Elizabeth told the people that his name was John, all their friends and their relatives, they went over to Zechariah and they started making signs like to tell him, ask him what he thought the baby's name should be.
Hey,
Yes.
why is that funny?
Well, you remember how he couldn't speak, and so they were making signs to ask him what he thought the baby's name was.
Man, I still don't get it. That's not funny.
No, it's funny because he's not deaf. He can hear. If they wanted to just speak, he could hear. He just couldn't talk.
Oh, yeah, that is funny.
So then what happened?
So Zachariah, he took a piece of paper and he wrote down the name John. And when he did, you know what happened?
What happened next?
He could speak all of a sudden.
That must have been crazy for all these people to see this after he went 9 whole months in silence.
I assume it was, but I'm sure the people knew that God must have a special plan for John.
Oh, well, look at the time. It looks like we better say bye to our friends.
You're probably right.
Do you think it would be okay if we all stayed the night tonight?
Oh, please, Mom, can they?
Well, I mean, you don't have school tomorrow. We're on Christmas break, so I don't see why not. Sure.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm going to have to go find a place for you guys to sleep.
I can help, Mom.
Okay, well, why don't we tell all of her friends goodbye?
Bye.
Thank you for watching this Christmas adventure as we study the true meaning of Christmas. Over 2,000 years ago, Jesus Christ came to this earth as a baby. He lived here for 33 years. He lived a perfect life. He gave his life on the cross of Calvary so we could be saved. 3 days later, he arose from the grave. He remained on this earth for 40 days before he went back into heaven. As he left in a cloud, angels told his disciples Jesus would return to earth one day. This season, as you look forward to celebrating Christmas, pay attention to the feeling of anticipation you feel. Remember the promise, he is coming again. This time he will not come as a baby, but as a king. May the feeling of joy and anticipation of his second coming be even greater than Christmas. The King is coming.